leaders, thank you so much for leading this summer. We are wrapping up, getting very close to the end of the Old Testament in our series where we're walking through what each of the divisions of the Bible are and what the meta-narrative is for each of those sections, or how each of those divisions fits into the meta-narrative of the Bible. And so this week, June 19th, we are talking about the major prophets. We'll be teaching about just kind of a brief breakdown on each of those after looking at those on the wall, things like that. They are: Isaiah warned the Israelites to stop sinning and turn back to God. They ignored him. He also wrote many prophecies about the Messiah, Jesus. Jeremiah, he warned the Israelites that their consequences were coming, and he continued to speak God's words even when they were exiled in Babylon. Lamentations, sad poems about how horrible it is that Jerusalem was defeated, but at the end speaks hopefully and trusting in Israel's restoration by the Lord as promised. Ezekiel, written while in exile in Babylon, has 7 visions about God's power, and he is reminded that even though they had sinned, God was still in control of their current situation and that there is future hope. So God's sovereignty. And finally, Daniel, it is the shortest of the major prophets, but it has lots of big happenings, lots of things that they'll recognize. It was written while he was in exile in Babylon. Well, all of them were. But it tells about all the different stories about what happens to he and his friends and the happenings there. And overall kind of theme of Daniel is that God shows up and we obey God no matter what it feels like the consequences, or literally or seemingly assumed will be. So activities for this day will be in the creative classroom. We'll have a long piece of the paper on the wall, and it will be to create a long mural about each of those books working together, because the reason they're called major prophets is not because they were more important, but because they were longer books. And then our physical activity, there'll be buckets in the room, and they will be reading something that was about each of those books, and then throwing, like the leader will read a clue. It's a book of sad poems. Kid will guess, oh, it's Lamentations, throw into the Lamentations bucket. All right. Again, thank you so much for leading. It helps kids know that they are loved by you because you bothered to be here and set your time aside, and by Jesus. Thanks, guys.